Hiya guys, Grey Gardener here. Welcome to the channel. So I'm doing this video off the back of a video that I've just watched by the Tattoo Gardener. Now I'll put a link to his channel in the description box below. Brilliant channel, so go and check him out after this video. So he was basically, he had an issue where he went to quote a price, and the customer said, if you take cash, will you knock a fiver off? I think he was probably thinking along the lines of, you don't have to declare it if I pay you in cash, which is obviously an issue in itself. And any respecting person running a proper business isn't going to do that. You declare everything, obviously. And he didn't. The Tattoo Gardener, sorry, he didn't go for it. The reason he didn't go for it, and rightly so, and this is what I want to get onto in this video, and this is speaking to people who are just at the start of their gardening business journey or who have yet to start. So he said, me price is me price. Obviously, rightly so. He's still having to do that job. He's going to declare all his income. So he's going to be taxed on income, whether it's cash or through his bank. He says, no, my price is my price. And it's happened to me a handful of times, not very often, I must say. And I hope that's the case for everyone. You're always going to get a few idiots who try to sort of undervalue you and for some reason try to knock the price down. I don't get it personally. I would never do it. So I'm coming up into my third year, and pricing is very difficult, especially when you're starting out. And there are a few factors which I want to get into as to why it's difficult. So the first one is experience, and I've got pricing videos on here. I'm transparent of my prices and give you actual examples. I'll link them below, if you want to have a look at them. I don't always get them right, and that's the point. I've put basically, I've documented what I do, or vlogged rather, what I do and what I've done in my business, and I've made mistakes, haven't got it right all the time. So the first thing is experience. It is hard pricing. It's guesswork. It is guesswork. You've got to basically ask yourself, do I really want the job? How long is it going to take? Am I going to be using any specialist gear, or what gear am I going to be using? Because that's presumably all your own stuff that you have to first off invest in, not cheap, maintain and replace when they break, not cheap. You've got to keep your vehicle. I started off in the car, I've got my van now. You've got to keep your vehicle on the road. You've got a lot of costs, and that's a massive thing. But at the beginning, you're not fully into it. You haven't kind of gone through a couple of years and kind of experienced different situations, experienced kind of certain customers who are maybe going to be a bit, what's the right word, well, a bit nasty really, a bit miserable with you and horrible. And you might get people who haven't paid yet, or are slow to pay and you have to chase up. And just, you kind of compare the first few months to the first few years of running it, because in those first few months, you're not going to encounter probably every experience, and I probably even haven't now, 2-3 years down the line. But anyway, so it's basically guesswork. And the thing is for me though now, which wasn't the case at the start, because I'm into my third year, still new though, I'm not like professing that I'm some expert. I just basically put these videos out there just to tell you my experiences really. Now when I'm quoting, I'm not, yes, obviously I'm thinking about everything. So you do take obviously everything into consideration. So again, how long does it take? What am I using? Where's the job? Am I traveling to it? Million things, and I've done videos on that. But for me now, I'm thinking about my body, because when you're doing however many gardens you do a day, I try and do, at least 5 a day. Different, obviously, different. It entails. I can't even. It's too early. It's too early. That could be grass cuts, hedge trims, maintenance, borders. That kind of thing. Could be anything. So 5+ a day is what I aim for at the minute. And I'd say I'm 95% full, which makes a difference as well. So I've got room for maybe 4 or 5 regulars, and I leave 1 day free a week for one-off stuff. So that's another thing when you're pricing in the beginning. You want to work. You're a bit nervous about pricing too high. You probably don't even know what too high is. I didn't. But as you get going, you get that experience, you get a feel for it, your pricing should get better and kind of even itself out. And you should have a decent idea of how much you're going to need to make based on your costs and also your lifestyle, your current situation. Do you have a partner who's also bringing in a wage? Do you have kids? You know, so many factors. What part of the country are you in? So many variables on that. But yeah, for me, I just think about my body and I imagine, which is what I said in the comment of the tattooed gardener. I just imagine what I'm gonna feel like in 20 years time. So this is my 3rd year. I wake up one morning, I cannot move my fingers for a few minutes. They're so stiff. And I did go to the doctors about that because I've got Crohn's as well. You're more susceptible to other things like rheumatoid arthritis, and I thought, oh, is this the onset of like some sort of arthritis? And I got checked out, and it wasn't. So I think it's just basically you're grabbing, you're using machinery all day. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and it clears up after a few minutes. So that's fine, but you know, your body's going through so much wear and tear, and you know the amount of times I'm sat, you know, on a night watching the telly with ice or a hot water bottle on my back or anything, you might overstretch at certain times, you know, your shoulders ache, and I just think, oh my God, what am I gonna feel like in 20 years time when I'm like, you know, in my 50s and that, can I even do it, you know? People do it, you know, well into the 60s and beyond sometimes, and I honestly just can't imagine what I'll be feeling like then. So my thinking is I cannot do it for pennies. I've got to charge a proper rate. Now I say a rate, I charge by the job and not per hour, because there's an exception to every rule, isn't there? But I think if you're charging by the hour, you're undercutting yourself so much. You could be earning so much more. And again, I've done videos on this, so you know, go and have a look at the channel. But even if you're on £25-30 an hour, you know, if you're pricing by the job, you can earn more than that. I would say an hour's work, a one-off hour's work. This is talking without giving you any actual examples of what the job is, but you know, it could be like 50-60 quid depending on what you're doing. But if you're only charging by the hour, you know, there's a ceiling there, you kind of go beyond it. So like there's only a certain amount of hours and light in the day, so you can only earn a certain amount. But I'm going off topic here. The whole point was you know, pricing and sticking to your guns and knowing your worth. And I've done videos, as I say, that have been underpriced, and people have said in the comments, no, like you're far too cheap. Some people have been a bit nasty with it. 99% of people have been fine. I'll have been cheap in the first place because I basically found it difficult pricing work. And it's only when you get into it and do a few years, you know, when you look at the job, you think, right, that's going to be a pain in the arse. I need to price accordingly. Or you might be pricing for factoring in things that aren't apparent when you first quote. So I just did a recent video that a lot of people said I quoted quite high for. But underneath the grass, there was glass, there was bottles, there was bits of stumps, there was bits of rocks. I couldn't just put my mower over it. So you're pricing for certain eventualities as well. But yeah, so the main thing is just to keep going with it. You'll get there with your pricing, because you know as well, half an hour into a job, you'll know whether you've priced it right or wrong. And I was at a job the other week that I think took us an extra, well, I was there 2.5 days. I think I'd factored in 1.5 days, so I think it took us an extra day or an extra 4 or 5 hours or something. And I knew as soon as I started, I thought this is going to take longer. So I messed up there. You know, that wasn't on the channel, but you know, you do mess up still, and because it's not easy. Loads of links in the description box below. Check them out. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.